Hello, everybody. So I just got done taking a hike and I wanted to talk about something that was on my mind, which is the act of choosing yourself. I have spent many years of my life up until this last year being a people pleaser and having no self love, self care, self respect for myself whatsoever. I wasn't raised to be a confident person. I was raised to be a submissive person that avoids confrontation and conflict and is just a yes man, so to speak. I grew up being raised by a narcissistic father. And these are not terms that I throw around lightly. I have gone through a lot of deep diving and observation before I make these categorized descriptions of people. My father is a textbook narcissist, and I can say that confidently. And I grew up terrified of him. And I also grew up not getting any sort of validation from him. No pats on the back, no attaboys, no no, whatever skill you have is amazing and you should run with that skill. No, none of that. Um, which I think in turn, in very stereotypical fashion, led me to getting involved in relationships and friendships where I was very much being met by the same energy. Not that I'm going to categorize any of these people as narcissist. Well, one of my relationships, I was full on with a textbook narcissist for a very long time. But, I gravitated towards people with strong personalities that gave me an impression that they were protecting me and looking out for me. And, just very dominating personalities. And yeah, I say this to say it just put my relationship with my father put me in situations I wish I never would have been in. And still, all the while, just looking for that validation that you're doing good, you're smart, you're helpful, you're all these things that I would never hear from my dad. And I always grew up being very afraid of this man. There was a time in middle school, I actually had some friends. I actually had the social skills to be on a basketball team and build friendships within my basketball team. Because outside of that, I did not really have friends. I was very awkward socially. I often just spent time by myself. I've always been a lone wolf of sorts. But, this was like the height of me being very social and having friends. And I always wanted to have a birthday party at like Dave and Buster's or something and invite people and just have a good time, right? And this was something that was planned. Most of my teammates were going to attend. And just before this birthday gathering was going to take place, I had a basketball game. And at this basketball game, I was having a rough time. We were getting our asses kicked. I was very disappointed and down on myself. And I could hear my father yelling from the stands, like, pick your head up. You're not paying attention. Blah, blah, blah. All valid things. I wasn't paying attention. I was fumbling, not paying attention, and being so focused on how I was feeling about myself failing my team members, that I was continuing to fail them by not paying attention to somebody running past me as my head was down running back to the other end of the court, right? But I was also like 13 years old. So anyways, um cut to the game's over. My dad decides to take me to the side and talk to me about everything that I did wrong in this game. And I just really didn't want to hear that shit. And my father's always been very big on you look me in the eyes when I'm talking to you. So um I was getting frustrated, and I would end up looking down as I was listening to him talk, and he would get pissed off and say, "Look at me." This happened probably about 2 or 3 times. On the third time, I was incredibly pissed off. And when I looked up at him, I must have given him the dirtiest fucking look, because he got pissed, grabbed me by my arm, dragged me all the way to the back of the parking lot where no one else could see us, because, it's only okay to threaten me and beat the shit out of me when there's nobody else around, right? So then he's like, "So you want to be all tough now?" And blah, blah, blah. And I just stood there, listened. My mom came to the back where our car was at. She got in and she waited for me. And he was tired of my attitude, and he was like, "Just get in the car with your mom." So I got in the car, and when I got in the car, I slammed the fucking door because I was angry. And I swear it was like he knew I was going to do that, because as soon as that door slammed, it opened right back up and he dragged me out of the car. And my sister, who must have been keeping an eye on the situation, came running across the parking lot to stop him. And she did. I got in the car. I expressed to my mother, the first time I ever cussed in front of her, I expressed to her that I don't ever want to fucking see him ever again, and so on and so forth. And she just nodded her head, and we went home. So following this situation, I am going to school. One of my classmates tells me that no one's coming to my birthday party because of what happened at the basketball game. So I'm like, that sucks. This would go on to set like a whole ass vibe of me having really shitty birthdays for a very long time, up until last year. Last year was the first good birthday I had since I can't even remember when. But anyways, I'm going to school. A family friend is a principal at this school, and she has me go to like little counseling sessions. And she's basically telling me, like, it feels like you're using this event as an excuse not to talk to your dad anymore. And I was like, yeah, I am. And that's after years of me being terrified of this man, because he always uses physical actions to present his point. So, yeah, this was the line drawn in the sand for me. And also just experiencing and knowing of things that he's done to other people that I hold close to me. But anyways, I have been looking back on that recently and thinking about how, even though these people knew my father's history, I mean, this is a family friend, and then I have like my siblings and stuff. It's like, all of you know who he is and what he's done and what he tried to do to me, and you're chastising me for using it as an excuse to never speak to him again. My sister had a birthday coming up, and I was going to be the one making things very awkward if I didn't have some sort of relationship with my father and make amends and forgive him. So I caved. And I think I wrote some letter saying that I forgave him, even though I didn't. It was all a lie. And as I said, I've been thinking back to this moment a lot because I realize that as this was a big moment in my life where I have spent my whole life shy, quiet, and thinking my voice didn't matter. And just, being made to feel all these negative things about myself. And I stood up for myself and I said, I don't want to see him ever again. And they took that from me by guilting me as a child, guilting me into forgiving him so that it would be less awkward to go to a birthday gathering for my sister, which she was having at Dave and Buster's. uh, so, as of recently, I had a mental breakdown last year. I had to learn how to love myself, and I didn't have to, I chose to. I made a lot of choices through very hard moments. I had to fight through wanting to take myself out of this world and find a way to find purpose and love and care for myself. And I decided to cut out people that I realized that were causing me more harm than good. People, friends, family members that thrived off of the me that I was when I was a lost, self-hating alcoholic for the majority of my life. I it just came to a lot of conclusions about my life, and I even tried to give my father one last shot at, I don't know, redemption, us having some sort of relationship. I thought, hey, maybe he's changing. So for the 100th time, this man shows me who he is. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I am done with this. I am done with pretending that I am okay with somebody that has shown me my whole life that they are not okay with me. Somebody that I used to have in my life once told me that, say one of their parents loves them but doesn't like them. And I couldn't really fathom what they were trying to tell me. And they explained to me, like, my parent loves me because they're supposed to. I am their child, but they do not like me as a person, as I am. And that just totally clicked. And that is very much the type of relationship that I have with my father. My father loves me because he's supposed to, but he does not like me, and he never has. I have always been a tomboy. I have always tried to march to the beat of my own drum, regardless of people trying to control me and the ways that I've dressed or presented myself, right? Especially him. Not liking the way I dress, not liking anything about me, all the way down to having my hands in my pockets and that being unladylike, right? Like, I've gotten to family events where I can predict exactly what he's going to say to me based off of something that I'm wearing or based off of my physicality. There's a point in time where I gained a lot of weight and I knew he was going to say something about it, and he did. It's just things like this. This man does not like me. And I just decided that, I'm done pretending to be okay with somebody that causes me harm to whatever degree. I don't like going and pretending to be nice to somebody that I know does not like me or my life choices or anything like that. So I was just like, you know what? I'm officially done. I'm going back to 13-year-old me putting my foot down and making a fucking choice for myself. And just yesterday, my mother was looking at some recent pictures from recent family events, like birthdays and what have you. And she goes, I'm very upset that you're not in these pictures. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, like birthday stuff and stuff that's just happened, like graduations and stuff. And she goes, yes. She's like, I don't care if you have like work or something, you know. She's like, you gotta be in these pictures. And mind you, I have told her, my mom is a sweetheart. I love her. She is a saint. She is my angel. I'm not talking shit on my mom, but it just frustrated me because I told her why I wasn't going to family events anymore as long as he's there and all these things and why. But it's like all of that went out the window and it's not taken seriously. Like I'm being silly. And it just frustrated me that to think that, damn, even the person that supports me and loves me and likes me most can't even deeply acknowledge or accept the fact that I am choosing myself and my self respect to not compromise myself, my sanity, and all these other things that dragged me and tore me apart my whole life. As a self-hating person, as a self-hating alcoholic, like you can't respect the fact that I am choosing myself and not participating in this bullshit environment that this whole family has created of forgiveness and what it does for us. Forgiveness helps us move on and to give somebody else another chance. And it's like, fuck that. I've given so many people chances in my life to do better, to do better, to be better. Too many chances, too many people pleasing, always forgiving chances. And I am done with it. I chose myself and my sanity. Just like as of recent, I just quit a job where I was in a toxic environment where I was being bullied and fucked with. And then I was becoming a very toxic version of myself. I was shit talking all the time. I was getting angry at every little thing that they were doing because I knew that 50% of it was intentional and them being petty and doing things that they knew that only I would notice. Then I was getting pissed off working in an environment that has no rules or regulations, and all these people were just getting away with doing all these unprofessional, harassing things because I didn't work in a situation where I was protected, and I didn't work in a situation where I had a manager that had the courage to stand up to other men and say something about it. So I made a stand for myself and I left that situation. And I took a risk in a way by not completely solidifying the next job, which I told myself I wasn't ever going to do again. But I had a panic attack where I almost passed out at work. I could feel my heart beating so damn heavy that it was shaking my whole body. And I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to myself this time before something ends up being another bad mental breakdown that I can not come back from. I am not going to let this job kill me. I am not going to let myself be told that I'm being silly or ridiculous or allow people to gaslight me out of my intuition, or tell me that this is just the way things are and that going to another job is going to be just like this because this is how all jobs are. I don't accept that. Yeah, I don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept that. Nobody does. I took a stand for myself, and I sit here and I make videos like this because I want to encourage change. You don't have to accept going to family functions to hang out with people that don't like you and cause you harm and talk shit about you, or talk shit about the people that you do love and don't cause you harm, and you just have to sit there and accept it because they're family. I'm trying to encourage change in these dynamics that are so damn harmful to us, that we are often told on a daily basis that this is just the way things are. You know, family sucks. That's just the way things are. You just have to deal with it because they're family. You know, work situations and job environments are toxic, and this is how people behave. You just have to deal with it. This is just the way that things are. Which I don't agree with any of that, and I hope that one day me making enough of these videos helps encourage and create community along with other people who sit and share their voices and their stories in the same cadence, where we build community and encourage people to stand in their authenticity and to love themselves and value and respect themselves first. That is the biggest thing. I always used to hear, love yourself first, and you can't love other people properly if you don't love yourself. And I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. I didn't think that it was important. But when I was in the dark, making decisions to leave this earth, I found a way out, and I learned then more than ever that that is completely valid. Getting out of a lack mindset and thinking that bad things are always going to happen, or getting out of a lack mindset where I had no value and that I didn't like myself, getting out of that has completely changed my life. It really does change everything in your life when you expect good more than you conjure up bad. And protecting your mindset, going through the journey to get to this mindset, and then having the courage to also protect it is everything. I'm not going to let anybody make me feel bad about not going to family outings. I'm not going to let anybody make me feel bad about not staying at a job that was literally causing me harm outwardly and inwardly by me becoming a person that I don't want to be. So yeah, choose yourself, love yourself, respect yourself, value yourself first. And then everything else falls into place. Better decision making, better mindset, better opportunities. It sounds silly and magical, but it is magical, Like I keep saying on here, you are the magic. Nothing happens overnight. Everything takes hard work. But you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. I had all the makings and signs of somebody that could not do this or that would not make it. And I believed that for a very long time. And now being on the other side of that and seeing the value in myself and my life, and my purpose and my passion, like, that's an unstoppable force. And imagine if so much more of us harnessed and engaged in that knowing, we could change the fucking world. And that is a big part of what I would like to get to and encourage. Helping change the world for the better and dropping all these stupid norms that we're raised to believe are adequate or just the way things are. Nothing has to be just the way things are, especially when just the way things are causing you repeated cycles of harm. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I know I went into like 30 minutes here, but I just want to promote good things in this world, good things for you, good things for myself, good things for all of us. So thank you for watching and thank you for listening. And I will see you next time. Don't forget, you are the magic and nothing happens overnight. All right. Take care of yourself. Take care of your inner child. Your inner child will get you through anything as long as you listen and give it all the love and attention that it needs, that it never got when you were little. That is why I'm out here hiking, going on walks and little adventures with myself, because my inner child was screaming at me to drop that job and get outside and sit here and create. So get outside, watch one of your favorite movies or cartoons from when you were little, and just reconnect with yourself and get back to believing that anything is possible. All right. I'll see you next time. Thank you.